right, guys, let's get this review video knocked out. First one, absolute value. Remember, 2 bars, 2 answers. So an equation is going to have 2 answers almost all the time. Set that absolute value equal to 14. Also set equal to negative 14. Solve both sides. Move the 8 over here, you get 22. Move the 8 over there, you get negative 6. And you're good. Number 2, another one of those. Remember, before you work out the absolute value equation, you must isolate the absolute value. So first step is move the 5 over, which is going to give me 3. Now take the absolute value away, set equal to 3 and negative 3. Please make sure you isolate that first, because if you don't, it will affect your answer. Move that 2 over, that's 5. If I move that 2 over, it's negative 1. And by the way, you can check those. You can plug it back in. Make sure you got the right answer. Make sure you get it good. Number 3, another absolute value equation. Man, there's a bunch of these. Move the 14 over, only the 14. Gives me negative 9. And usually I'd put no solution right there, because absolute value can equal a negative. But there's a negative sign in front of the absolute value. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1, which gives me this. Still have absolute value. It's not isolated yet. Equals 9. Now it's isolated. I can take it away. X plus 4 is 9. X plus 4 is negative 9. Move the 4 over, we get 5. Move the other 4 over, we get negative 13. And again, you can check those if you want to. Number 4, same deal, except it's going to be much quicker. I can already tell. Move the 8 over. Here's the problem with number 4. When I move that 8, it gives me negative 3. Remember, absolute value is the distance the number is away from 0 on the number line. Distance cannot be negative. That way, absolute value cannot be negative. This will have no solution. So be so careful, because if you try to solve it, given 2 answers, you will find 2. They just won't work. Okay, so be careful. 5 through 8 look like inequalities with absolute value. This is absolute value of x is less than 8. Remember, we would say less than, which means it's an and. So I'm just going to write it like that. It says then graph, so I'm going to put negative 8, positive 8, filled in circles because it's equals, and interval notation will be negative 8 to 8 with brackets because of the equal signs. Number 6, it says absolute value of 3x is greater than 36. Greater, remember greater, so I'm going to say 3x is greater than 36, or 3x is less than negative 36. So just divide by 3, x is greater than 12, or x is less than negative 12. My number line would look like negative 12. No filled in, going that way. Remember, or, you go all the way to the arrow. Interval notation is going to take 2 intervals. I shaded from negative infinity to negative 12 with the parentheses. Then I shaded from 12 to infinity with a parentheses. Number 7, another less than. So it's a less than, it's an and. So I'm going to say x minus 7 less than 12. Greater than negative 12. Still, 2 bars, 2 answers. 2 bars, 2 answers. Just add 7 to all 3 sides. Gives me x. Over here I get 19. Over here I get negative 5. There's that. My number line is going to go from negative 5 to 19. Fill it in circles. Boom. And my interval notation is negative 5 to 19 with brackets because of the equal sign. Number 8, the last one of these, finally. Greater than, so I'm going to say 3 minus 4x is greater than 10, or 3 minus 4x is less than negative 10. So move the 3 over. That's going to be 7. Divide by negative 4. Be careful. If you divide by negative 4, you got to flip that sign. Make negative 7/4. Same thing here. Move the 3 over. You get negative 13. Divide by negative 4. Flip the sign. So draw my number line. Going negative 7/4. We're going less than that way. 13/4 over here. Going that way. Interval notation. Negative infinity up to negative 7/4 with the parentheses, and also 13/4 to positive infinity. And there's 8. Number 9 and 10 are radical equations. Number 9 is a cube root. So what I'm going to do in number 9 is I'm going to cube both sides. Cube this side and that side. If I cube the cube root just goes away. By the way, if you cube negative 5, you're cubing the negative and the 5. Because it's an odd power, it's going to stay negative, and 5 cubed is 125. Let's move that 1 over, make it negative 126. Divide by 2, and you get negative 63. Now, usually I wouldn't circle that answer that quick, because you know there could be extraneous solutions, but if it's a cube root and odd root, you do not have to worry about that. They all will work, so you don't really have to check those. However, number 10, the one I'm about to start, you will have to check this one to make sure. So first step, let's move that 2. Remember, we're isolating the radical first. Get 5. Square both sides. Get 3x minus 1 over here, get 25. Move the 1 over. It's going to be 26. Divide by 3. get 26 thirds. I know you're like, I don't want to check that. But when you check it, what happens is if you do 3 times 26 thirds, in here, the 3's cancel, which gives you 26 minus 1, which is 25. Square root of 25 is 5, plus 2 is 7. Works great. 2 more of these. Number 11, a little tougher now. I'll move this 1 over. Isolate the radical, remember? Always isolate the radical. If I move the 1, it's this. Square both sides, not just each term, but each side. Over here, on the left-hand side, the square root goes away. Right-hand side, I'm going square, multiply together, double, and square. One thing I noticed is those 1s are gone. I'm going to move that x over here, which gives me x and x minus 3. So my 2 solutions maybe are 0 and 3. I'm going to check those in my head real quick. 0 does not work. 3 does work. So the only solution there is 3. All right, now let's go to the toughest one, number 12. Be a good old challenge for you. Okay, number 12, I'm going to start by just doing this. I'm going to switch places with the 1 in that square root. And to be honest, it does not matter. You just need to isolate one of the radicals. I'm going to isolate the bigger radical because it's probably easier to square, multiply, double square with a simpler radical. So I'm going to square this side and that side. When I square the right side, I just get 3x minus 3. When I square this left-hand side, you square the first term, which is just x. Multiply these together. This is the toughest part. You get negative 2 on x. Because if you multiply together, you get negative 1 on x. Then double it. Square the negative 1, you get positive 1. Now I'm going to move everything over. I'm taking that x over there, which is going to give me 2x. I'm moving the 1 over there, which gives me minus 4. And I have this in the front, negative 2 on x. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to divide everything by negative 2, which gives me negative 1x and a positive 2. And I'm going to square both sides again. Okay, so I'm going to square the left, it's just x. I'm about to go square, multiply, double, square. So I'm going to square the negative x, which gives me x squared. Multiply together, double, it will give me negative 4x, and then square the 2, which is 4. Again, because there's an x squared, I know I'm going to probably have to factor, so I'm moving that x over, I get negative 5x plus 4. Factor that thing, I get negative 4, x minus 4, x minus 1. So my 2 answers possibly are 4 and 1. Going to plug those in real quick. If I plug in 4 here, that'd be 2 minus 4. 3 times 4 is 12 minus 3. 2 minus 3, that doesn't work. 4 is not good. If I plug in 1, I get 1 minus 0. That is good. So 1 is the only solution. That's the toughest one on there probably. 13, find all the stuff for that parabola. We've been doing negative b over 2a, so that's how I'm going to go. So if I go negative b over 2a, I'm getting negative 6 over 2 times 3, which is really just negative 1. So my vertex, which is the first thing it asked me for, is going to be negative 1 something. And the way you find out what it is, I'm going to take negative 1 and plug it all back in for all the x's right there in the equation, which will give me 3 minus 6, which is negative 3 plus 5, gives me 2, negative 1, 2. Which means the axis, remember you got to put x equals negative 1. Because it's a positive 3, it means it opens up, which means it has a min, and the minimum value is always the y, which is 2. If we do graph it, all you got to do is go to negative 1, 2 right here, and because it's going up, if you just graph it going up, that's good enough. All right, let's keep going. 14, simplify. This is just FOIL method with i's, with imaginary. So I'm going to go first, which is 6, outer, inner, and last. I squared, remember, is really negative 1, so it's negative 1 times negative 10, which is really, so that's really positive 10 right there. I'm going to add that 10 to the 6 at the beginning. 10 plus 6 is 16. Then combine those two, and I get 11i. 16 plus 11i. Number 15, so by completing the square, remember, half the middle, square, add to both sides. First thing, move the 13 over. All right, now I'm going to take half the middle. Half of negative 10 is negative 5. Square it. I get plus 25 plus 25. Right-hand side, I've got 12. Left-hand side is really x minus 5 times x minus 5, or x minus 5 squared. That's why it's called complete the square. Also, that half up there always ends up back in your parentheses down here, just saying. All right, take square to both sides. Get x minus 5. Over here, you got plus or minus. Now, 12 is really 4 times 3. So I'm going to get 2 on 3. Finish up by just moving the 5 over. Put it in the very front. 5 plus or minus 2 on 3. There's your 2 solutions for us to complete the square. One more, I think. Yep, 16. Binomial theorem. We got to expand that thing. So start off, remember, well, go to your calculator. Go to y equals, and we're punching in 4cx so we can see what all the coefficients are. And if you look at your table, it goes 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. So I'm going to I'm going to have 1x to the fourth. I'm going to put a 4 in the front. Again, the second, remember, every other term is going to be minus because there's a minus sign in there. The x's are going down, the 2's coming up. Then I'm going to put a 6. The x is going down, the 2's coming up as far as the exponents go. Another 4, the x is going down to 1, the 2's coming up. And the last term is just 1 times 2 to the fourth. And your job, don't forget, you got to multiply all that stuff out. So one more step. X to the fourth. Here, 2 times 4 is 8, x cubed. Here I'm doing 2 squared, which is 4, times the 6, which is 24, x squared. This one, 2 cubed is 8. 8 times 4 is 32, x. And then 2 to the fourth is 16. And there you have it. All right, hope that helps. Hope you do great tomorrow. I think it's a good test to get a good grade on. So hopefully that happens for you. See you tomorrow.